hear your history now, how you guys understand the history of patriarchy in Africa, starting with Natasha. Tell us how you view the history of what patriarchy is, and or rather has been over the times, especially in Africa. You're saying it is, it is oppressive. You'll tell us that, but just walk us through how you view it in historical ways. Also seeing Joseph Wambua saying tuned. Natasha?
Okay, so I have a feeling you're expecting me to give you dates and stuff like that, but I'm
No,
just
no,
going
no.
to like,
No,
I'm just,
don't give
I'm,
it.
I'm just going to give like how it started and how it's coming along until
Yeah.
the 21st. We are in the 21st century, so how it is right now. I will say, and these are my very, very personal opinion and views. Initially, how patriarchy started, like Chris said, this is the first time I'm going to agree with you on the show. It probably did start as it wasn't supposed to be something oppressive. And then it later on evolved to become something oppressive. Now, why did men have an upper hand over women in the past? It's simply because in the past it was about brawn. It wasn't about brain, like who is the most intelligent to bring food to the table. It was more like who has the biggest muscle to protect and provide for the family, right? Eventually, this having the strength, and by strength I mean the physical strength that the men did have, it gave them a certain upper hand over women. And somehow they got to be the ones who make decisions for the families. And the women had to be sidelined from that. Because
Yeah.
if you're looking at it, what are you bringing to the table? Women in this case had nothing that they are bringing to the table. Okay, not nothing really, but whatever they had could not necessarily be considered as important as the protection and provision that men were bringing to the table. All right.
Yep. Yeah.
And then over the years, we've had now systems coming, other forms of, now where the oppression comes in is from these decisions that were being made by men about women. For example, FGM. That came about, I wouldn't say a woman sat down and decided, let's cut some parts of our body as initiation.
How sure are you? How sure are
I'm just
you?
saying,
You might be
now the
blaming men
women
on some things women decided.
now the women themselves were the driving force of it, because you have to go through this to be accepted by community, you have to go this to be eligible for marriage. And marriage at that time was a very, very important thing to women. You grow up, you are groomed to be a wife and a mother.
Yeah.
You get exactly. So we had things like early marriages. You after FGM, maybe at 13 years, they look at a like 87-year-old and they decide somehow you're going to be his 10th wife. Why? Because he is rich enough. He is rich, he is wealthy, he has a lot of animals, cattle, goats, cows, he will bring to your father. You see how and this is not how men probably wanted it to turn out, but this is how it did turn out. Yeah, I've talked about FGM and early marriages. But right now, when you're looking at it, the patriarchy that is there right now, the one that women are trying to fight is we need to be the ones making decisions for ourselves. We need to have our voices out there. We need to also get jobs, get educations. We need to eradicate FGM. We need to take control of our sexual and reproductive health. So that is one thing I wanted to understand. The way it started, it was who is stronger than the other. But the way it is right now, it is who is smarter, who has the
Yeah.
brains, who brings more to the table, not in terms of strength, it's in terms of what are your ideas? How do we develop from here?